bullying to stop in school, which is a constant problem. There are so many problems that Disney tries to reach out to people about: bullying, literacy difficulty, taking care of the planet. There are so many different things that are looked at when it comes to the Disney Corporation, and there you have WWE for some reason constantly bashing them. It started when I noticed it. It started with the John Cena Miz program, which is still going on WWE television. The two of them are phenomenal stars, and I don't think that they need to be incorporating things like Disney and Nickelodeon shots into the storyline, and whoever's writing that on the part of WWE Creative should definitely rethink the creative process when it comes to something like that. Now, Dwayne Johnson just recently made his return after his movie Faster premiered on Blu-ray and DVD. He returned to work a program with John Cena for WrestleMania, and I think that, that program is a dream match that everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see John Cena one-on-one with The Rock. It's probably never going to happen. It's just going to be a series of vignettes from time to time. But they really didn't need to incorporate the whole, making fun of Dwayne Johnson for signing a contract with Disney, a short-term contract to make movies like The Game Plan and Race to Witch Mountain. You saw John Cena come out to the ring and did an old school rap, went basic thugonomics on The Rock and started making fun of him for being in a movie, that was targeted towards kids. It was an action movie, kind of a movie that you would, think of seeing The Rock in. I had the opportunity to actually go to the theater and see Race to Witch Mountain. I enjoyed the presentation of the film. I've spoken to a number of people on here that know The Rock personally, and I've also seen the film and can testify for that. I enjoyed the film. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal, just as I did The Game Plan, which he starred with Madison Payton in. And you see John Cena coming out, going Doctor of Thugonomics, and The Rock making fun of him and taking shots at Disney after you had worked with Disney, this past summer, which I don't see any point of it. I just don't, I can't put my finger on why WWE are doing this. I see these did you know facts about how WWE are always ahead of Disney, and I'm thinking to myself, are these did you know facts true? I had an individual here on the show. I've had the privilege of working with him and interviewing him several times. He was here for a 4-part series. One time his name was Vinny the Guido, Vincent Benedetto out of New York. And, I had the privilege of working with him also. He interviewed several people with me on here, and interviewing him was always a pleasure, and I enjoy, speaking with him on time to time. You can check him out by going to myspace.com/Vinny the Guido, and he's also on Facebook and Twitter and what have you. You can follow him on there. Not a big fan of Twitter or anything, but he has all those social networks just as everybody else does nowadays. 500 million users on Facebook, 500 million users on Twitter or something like that, and you're still limited to 125 words. But I think that, when he said to me about the did you know facts, that was a statement that could have never been more true. He said that WWE loves to exaggerate on the did you know facts. And I think that, them always being ahead of Disney is an exaggeration on their did you know facts. Now, some of their did you know facts are true, and, they represent WWE quite well. It was only in the past maybe 5 or 6 years they actually started using these did you know facts to increase ratings, and when Linda McMahon started to run for Senate. But, I don't think they need to be including and making reference to Disney and the networks that are contracted to show Disney. Not only are they making fun of Disney, but they're making fun of the networks that are contracted to show Disney programming, like, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Hannah Montana and The Replacements and what have you. And they made fun of ABC for doing that. The Did You Know fact made reference to an edition of Friday Night SmackDown being ahead of any programming on a Friday night that Disney had aired. And I don't know if that's actually true, because as I said earlier in this audio commentary, the amount of Disney fans significantly will outnumber the amount of WWE fans on any given day. Now, no doubt, WWE ranks in billions of dollars each year, just as Disney does, but I imagine that the dollar value, given the significant amount of merchandise that Disney, distributes to market their shows like Wizards of Waverly Place and Hannah Montana and stuff, is significantly high. And I imagine the dollar value for the Disney Corporation, beats out WWE in the stock market on a constant basis. And I just don't see, WWE being ahead of Disney like they make reference to. Absolutely stupid, pathetic, and I don't think it needs to be done. We see, them constantly making reference to Disney. It is absolute bullshit, and it doesn't need to be done. I've remained quiet about it for a significant amount of time, but I finally made the decision to come on here and talk about it because I think it needs some acknowledgement, especially when you have a company trying to encourage literacy and to encourage, taking care of the planet, to encourage, the treatment of children in high school and different things like that. It is, absolutely necessary to make a comment about it. And, if I do play Disney material here on the show, it's just my opinion, and it's just my way of, reaching out to a younger audience, and I don't think that WWE needs to single me out without making reference to me. On YouTube or Facebook or on WWE programming even. I think it's absolutely unnecessary, and I think they need to let bygones be bygones. Dwayne Johnson, who, was on Wizards of Waverly Place, did a phenomenal job on there. Any WWE talent you see on a Disney program does an absolutely phenomenal job. From Dwayne Johnson to John Cena, they're on there to make points and to set good examples, and they've done it. And then you turn on WWE television and you see them making fun of a certain issue or something going on with Disney, and I don't think it needs to be made reference to, and I think it needs to stop. If you're going to make fun of something, make fun of Paris Hilton or Jessica Simpson or something like that, something that nobody cares about anymore. That's old news. Because I think that, Disney, with the phenomenal programming they're always coming out with, and the phenomenal messages that they're broadcasting to fans, Walt Disney's got to be turned over in his grave at what WWE are doing to him. And like I said, I don't see any point of it. There was absolutely no need for that Hannah Montana video on the part of Kelly Kelly to be recorded, which was nothing more than a direct shot at me. I think that, The Miz making fun of Disney. I know me and Mike Mazzanin have went back and forth in blogs on MySpace and Twitter and stuff, and we've had, an exchange of words on occasion. But I really don't think, The Miz needs to come out and place John Cena on the same level as the Jonas Brothers or Hannah Montana. Alicia Fox doesn't need to be comparing, WWE to Disney. It's just something that I think, needs to stop, and there needs to be some form of correction done with it. It just upsets me, to know that WWE are doing this. Sure, they've made fun of a lot of things in the past, and they're no stranger to mocking or making fun of something. But when you're targeting kids, you need to directly go after a kids company like Disney. So you're going to take Disney out, which is something that, Vince McMahon will probably never do. A prime example of that is the XFL. And yeah, I'm going there. The XFL was supposed to be the football company that was going to have different rules. It was going to have different regulations, different teams, different concepts, storylines, the whole works. WWE superstars were even going to be involved with it. The XFL was going to be supreme over the NFL. In its first season, it folded, just as the Bodybuilding Federation did on the part of Mr. McMahon back in the early 80s. Everything Vince has done outside of wrestling has failed. And I don't think there will ever be a day when his, kids campaign is going to surpass anything that Disney does. I don't ever think Vince McMahon will ever buy out Disney, and we'll see, Disney become the DWF, the Disney Wrestling Federation or something like that. I don't think we're going to see that. Vince McMahon's company, no matter how hard he tries, is never going to be superior to the Disney Corporation, so he needs to get that out of his head. And as I said earlier, the prime example of the XFL is a prime example of how, everything Vince does outside of wrestling fails. It's beyond me how his film company, WWE Films, has lasted as long as it has. It's beyond me. I don't know, really what to say about that whole issue. And if you don't believe me, just go to xfl.com. You'll either be immediately directed into WWE.com or be sent to a URL that's absolutely invalid. Prime example of that. But yeah, most of it's going on WWE's Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. I don't know why. I don't know why they're heavily promoting this Twitter shit and this Facebook stuff. I've talked about this in previous audio commentaries. It doesn't need to be done. It just doesn't need to be done. And like I said, why can't the companies just come together? If you want to promote kids, work together on something. Work together on a project that's going to stand out and represent you for what you're really all about. If you want to encourage kids to read, come together and promote literacy difficulty. Because as I said, if you take 5 or 10 minutes out of your day to sit down and read a book to your child, their literacy and vocabulary will significantly increase. So I don't understand why WWE does this. And if it